Thomas, how are you?
Jonathan, I am doing fabulous, sir. And yourself?
Doing well,
Great,
thanks.
great. Listen, we talked about last week trying to, get ahead of the curve and, starting up some businesses. So you know
Yep.
what? Let's do a little bit more concentration on that. And we'll talk about starting a business with a strong ROI, return on investment for $5,000 or less. All right.
Yep.
So some of the things I thought about would be interior painting, landscaping, carpet cleaning, and house cleaning. Simple stuff. Now,
Yep.
interior painting, there's a lot of money with that. Okay, a lot of money involved, a lot of profit, and it doesn't cost much to get involved. So, your thoughts on starting a business for $5,000 or less, and those categories I mentioned?
Yeah, I mean, those are good, safe type of businesses to get into. Your startup cost, like you said, shouldn't be much. A couple $1,000 if that.
Hmm.
Um, you don't need to buy. Probably the only thing you're gonna have to buy is, some nice paintbrushes, a ladder, some cloths for the covering the floors. But
Correct.
for the most part, your profit margins will be very good. You can set your schedule based on what you want, and you can take jobs that you want and take off when you don't want to work. So it's a good. Those are good types of businesses. Um, the ones that are, there are other ones that you can do outside, like, landscape or, designing people's outside, how they do their flowers and their trees, power washing. That's a
Right.
seasonal business, but seasonal businesses are really good to get into because you can make quick money and then you can do something next, in a few months when it's off. So like right now, power washing businesses or pressure washer businesses are really big. And then when
Hmm.
they get a little slower, you know what they do? They start wrapping people's furniture up in the backyards. So
Okay.
there are,
No.
yeah, these are all great businesses. I would go ahead and get your company legalized. Start up within your state. Get yourself. We talked about this months ago. Get yourself everything you need to get started,
Hmm.
and you can, slowly you can get your stuff, your company working in the right direction.
Sure. Like interior painting, you can go to Lowe's, you can go to Home Depot, and they actually have classes, believe it or not, that are free, like
Yep.
do it yourself. And it's
Yeah.
like little seminars. They show you how to paint. So, we're giving you ideas. It's like, I don't know how to paint. You know what? Hey, listen, it's like Mr. Miyagi, up, down, So, it's pretty easy. You got a roller and all that. And like Jonathan mentioned, it doesn't cost much to get involved. You want to get good paintbrushes. All right. Don't go for the cheap ones. I used to do a lot of painting, when I was a teenager with my dad, and then into my adulthood when we'd buy houses and fix them up. Um, you know what? It's the one thing I hated about painting was the cutting in, doing around the windows, and and the moldings and stuff. But you know what? You learn to have a steady hand, and it's all right to make mistakes with it. The nice thing about like interior painting, the insurance, and you have to get insurance when you go out there. It doesn't matter what business you have, just to cover yourself, do everything legal, set yourself up an S corp. That's what you want to do, not an LLC or an LL, paid to a S corp. It's more tax beneficial for you. And you want to go to like an insurance company like Hiscox, HISCOX. They're very, very, very competitive in their prices. Okay, so check them out online. They're a solid company. They do all 50 states. You're about to say something, Jonathan?
I mean, it's all about setting it up. The initial part is it seems like a lot of work that you have to do because it is. But once you get over that hump, and now you just start figuring out how to get your next business, your next job,
Mm-hmm.
it becomes a much better peace of mind that you're in control of your future now. And it's like we're saying, it's very cheap to get involved. You just have to put the work
Yes.
in. Um, Painting, you can even explore. The first job you do, you're probably not going to do the best of the job because you never did it before. But that's why, like, work on maybe your own house, work on your parents' house, your friend's house, get used to how it works. Um, I mean, the more you do, the better you're going to get. And you can also
100%.
try the paint guns. They have the spray guns,
They do.
and
They do. When you
there's a
do
lot
what
of prep.
when you do interior painting, spray guns aren't that good. If that's from my own experience,
Yeah.
Rollers are the best and paintbrushes. When you do outside, paint guns are great. There's no doubt about that. I agree
I
with you.
mean, you can do. I mean, I did my ceiling once with the spray gun for the whole when I built the house, and
Okay.
it came out amazing because most people
Okay.
don't do the best of job on the ceiling, but that will be for you to decide. You could figure out what's your best way of doing it, but it's a great type of business to get involved in. There's
Yep.
many others like that. We mentioned a few,
Yeah,
landscaping.
the power washing is a good one. Like you
Yeah,
mentioned, especially up in the northeast section. It's a great, seasonal business. It'll keep you going pretty much from March until like November. And then, like you said, you start getting into, the furniture wrapping. And also what I saw up there when I was living up in that area, people doing Christmas decorations, hanging them up
it's
for
huge,
people. So
huge.
which I was very surprised that business has gained a lot of momentum, and people are really lazy out there, so they hire people to put up Christmas decorations for them.
I mean, the only thing that I would probably say with like you doing like gutter cleaning sounds easy. It's not a hard thing to do, though. You start getting involved in like insurances because anything where you're gonna go on a ladder is a little bit of a
The
risk
higher
for.
you go up, yep, you're
Yeah,
right. The insurance company, like roofers have the highest insurance out there as far as contractors go. You're
yeah,
absolutely right on that end. You want to keep it, easy. I mean, you do house cleaning again, it's that's going to be a word of mouth. You have to get bonded to do house cleaning. All right. You do that again, you're going to have to put a little money in there. So we started this off. This is a $5,000 or less investment for you. Okay. So do it. You can go to companies like LegalZoom online, read about setting up corporations. It doesn't cost much to do it. All right. So just set yourself up a bank account. So you have everything legal wise. So when you do your taxes with the IRS, hey, listen, this was all expense, et cetera. You have your receipts. So it's a CYA, you're covering your ass. But these are businesses you can start off, and it's a great return on investment, especially because it's going to be word of mouth and you're going to do it locally. I'll give you a tip. One thing my dad used to do, he used to advertise, back in the day on Long Island, we had a thing called the penny saver, like the weekly. You had classifieds. It's a little bit different now, the way you can advertise, but he targeted areas that were predominantly Jewish rich neighborhoods. And those people would actually hire you because they didn't want to do the work. They actually were out doing white collar work. And my dad got a lot of business from that. And a lot of word of mouth advertisements. So he was always had jobs, tons of jobs. So do the same thing. Hit predominantly, promising neighborhoods, the neighborhoods that have money. That's what you want to do. Any thoughts on that, Jonathan?
I mean, another good thing to do is if you see a house that someone just recently moved into, or there's potential construction coming up,
Mm-hmm.
set yourself up a flyer. You can people do it all the time. They don't go in the mailbox because technically you can't do that. Legally, you can't go into people's mailboxes, but they put them in between the mailbox and the flag, or they'll
Like
even
a,
I've
like a
seen them.
door hanger, right? Like a
Yeah,
door hanger. Yeah.
so that's another. If you're trying to get the business, trying to get jobs, leave your cards there. Put your cards on people's, stoop or whatever. It happens all the time.
Hey,
But yeah,
listen, you know what? I know if you walked into like local places like the supermarkets on, on
you put
Long
it on the
Island or anywhere
boards.
else, you could put your cards up on a bulletin board. Delis, you could leave like a stack of cards there.
Yep.
At bakeries, same thing. They leave it. 'Cause neighborhoods work with neighborhoods, So again,
Yep.
word of mouth advertising, and it's a good way to do. And you're not spending thousands of dollars. You're keeping it simple. And here's a tip for you: if you're going to do door hangers, don't say I'm going to get 500 printed up. Go get 5,000 or 10,000. Believe it or not, it's only dollars that separate it. It's not by that much when you start doing mass quantities. I've done it in the past, so I'm telling you from experience. It may only cost you $50 more, $100 more to go from 500 to 5,000. So that's a no-brainer. Okay.
Yep.
Anyway, hopefully we're giving you some, creative knowledge on this end, for starting up a business for not that much money, and it's going to basically be a good return on investment. Please hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, and we appreciate it. You guys have a great day. Take care.
Take care, everyone.